Nails growing upward, no sidewalls in sight, and no dual forms at hand? Hold tight because I'm about to show you how to handle this challenge without any extensions, without templates, and without extra materials. Just gel, a brush, and a technique that truly changes the game. And if you've ever dealt with cracks in the stress zone, lifting at the free edge, or nails that just won't stop curving upward, then your solution starts right now. This isn't just nail strengthening, this is extra gel sidewalls. A method that not only saves the shape but builds real armor for your nails. Let's go! Today I have a beautiful before situation. Yes, there's plenty of work ahead and the case is definitely not simple. The nails are growing upwards and at first glance it might seem easier to just grab dual forms and quickly perform nail extensions without extra fuss. But what if you don't have any dual forms or your client simply doesn't want extensions? That's exactly why today we're working with the extra gel sidewall technique, building out the lower parallels. I want to show you that even complicated nails like these can be fixed without using any extra materials. Just one gel and one brush. We'll start with material removal and we'll do it pretty quickly. Those who've been following me for a while know that I have a separate detailed video about removal. There, I clearly explain the diagrams, recommend which bits to buy and which ones you should absolutely avoid, so we won't linger here too long. Our main task right now is to remove as much of the old material as possible using an feel. We don't need it here because we'll be creating a completely new architecture. I'm using a blue carbide bit forward rotation set at maximum speed. Underneath the old material, we've got some lovely little nails. We just need to enhance them a bit. Wherever it's needed, we'll build up, and wherever there's too much, we'll remove the excess. Now we turn out the cuticle pocket and do a clean Combi manicure. The cuticle here is pretty average, nothing complicated, so we work confidently yet carefully to avoid causing any tears, God forbid. After turning out the cuticle, we use a file to smooth out any unevenness left from the ishila and simultaneously lift the scales of the natural nail plate. Everything we do before chemical preparation, that is removing the old material, turning out the cuticle, filing, and the Combi manicure, is collectively called mechanical preparation. In this video, I'm showing these steps briefly to save us some time, but if you'd like to dive deeper into each of these processes, such as chemical prep, properly pushing back and turning out the cuticle, performing a clean Combi manicure, I already have plenty of detailed videos on my channel. There, I explain everything carefully, step by step, at a comfortable pace, and share lots of extra tips and tricks you won't find anywhere else. So if you want to refine your technique even further, just take a look around my channel. Promise you'll find exactly what you're looking for. Now we've reached the chemical preparation of the nail plate. We thoroughly degrease it, apply a dehydrator, and then apply a primer for optimal adhesion between the base and the nail plate. Allow it some time to evaporate. This usually takes around 1 minute, and then we move on to applying the base coat. The base coat for any kind of nail strengthening or nail extension needs to be flexible, meaning it must match the natural flexibility of the nail plate. If the base is too rigid, it will simply cause lifting during wear. We apply the base coat evenly over the entire nail plate with a medium layer, not ultra thin, to make sure it performs as intended. Make sure you cover the whole surface thoroughly. Wherever the base is missing, the gel will start lifting. If you find it challenging to apply the base coat evenly with the brush from the bottle without flows, help yourself out by using a thin nail art brush. This way, you'll have more control and precision, allowing you to reach all those tricky areas that the brush from the bottle can't access. Once applied, cure the base coat in the lamp for 1 minute. After curing, remove the sticky layer from the base coat, and now we're ready to move on to gels. There are various gels for nail strengthening, and each requires its own technique. Choosing the wrong one can make your work harder, and you'll end up filing twice as much later. For example, here I have 3 gels with different consistencies. Gel jelly, which holds its shape perfectly and doesn't flow. The way you apply it, that's exactly how it stays. This is extremely convenient when you need precise control over the shape. Builder gel. This one has a thicker consistency, but it's not quite as stable as gel jelly. Still, with quick application, it holds its shape pretty well and doesn't flow. Such a consistency is also perfect for nail extensions using dual forms. And finally, the liquid universal gel. It's not comfortable to work with this one in the gel sidewall technique because it doesn't maintain the height of the gel sidewalls, which is critically important to us. It just flows away. In the gel sidewall technique, you should ideally use either a thick builder gel or gel jelly. Here, you absolutely need a clear, structured approach. Now let's talk about the brush. Which one should you choose for building out gel sidewalls? You'll need a thin brush with medium-length bristles so you can apply the gel neatly and precisely. A brush with short bristles will simply be uncomfortable for this task. If the bristles are too short, you won't be able to neatly draw out the line of the gel sidewall. Your gel will simply tear. One more crucial detail, how exactly should you pick up gel on your brush? When working with any gel, it's important to form a little sausage of material along the brush. Don't just grab a big blob of material, instead gently stretch the material along the bristles exactly as you're seeing right now. Now let's transfer the gel onto the nail, but first I'll clearly demonstrate this on a tip so you can fully understand the essence of these gel sidewalls. We visually lay down the gel along the sidewall area of the nail and then gently begin to pull the material towards the side parallels. Make sure you completely cover the growth points. In fact, we're creating a structural frame for the nail starting precisely from the growth points and moving along the free edge. However, if you're planning to remove more than 2 mm from the nail length later, don't apply gel to the free edge at this point, because we'll form the thickness of the free edge during the general strengthening stage. I'll definitely show you how to do that later. We stretch the gel so that we build up clear gel sidewalls and reinforce the natural sidewalls of the nail. Next, we strengthen the free edge. We just lay down a thin sausage of gel along the entire free edge so that from a side view you can clearly see the height of this reinforced gel sidewall. This creates a barrier for the gel during the main strengthening stage. As a result, in the area of the free edge, the gel won't fade away into nothing. It will remain at the required thickness. This in turn provides the nail with strength and acts as protective armor. Now let's repeat the exact same process on the other side. Working with builder gel is similar, but the key difference is that you must work quickly so the gel doesn't flow away. Therefore, if you're just starting to master this technique, it's better to begin with gel jelly. Once you've built up your speed, you can move on to trying out more liquid textures. But why exactly are liquid gels not suitable for creating gel sidewalls? It's very simple. Liquid gels flow away and don't allow you to build out the reinforced gel sidewalls at the thickness we need. Let me show you clearly what I mean. Here we're applying the gel and everything seems okay at first glance, but if we look at it from the free edge, you'll immediately notice the gel simply flowing down onto the sides. Nothing good will come of this. The gel will keep running off, you'll end up needing a lot more material, and afterward, you'll spend much more time filing it down. I'll show you this exact scenario on an actual nail soon, so you can clearly see how it looks in practice. Since the nails we're working with are growing upward, we need to lower the sidewalls to create reinforced structural ridges. And gel jelly is perfect for this task. Pick up a small sausage of gel on your brush and begin applying it starting from the sidewalls. Using my thumb, I gently pull back the lateral fold and push the gel precisely towards the growth points, ensuring our strengthening begins exactly from the stress area. Slowly, we drag the material downwards. At this stage, we're forming a straight lower parallel and lowering the free edge to align with the growth point. We're not just widening the nail by building sidewalls, we're actually pulling the material downward, so we start forming a proper nail arch at this early stage. If you skip this step and just build out gel sidewalls without lowering the material, your nails might look like a neat square from above, but from the side view, they'll resemble a bird who's been given pretty wings and is happily flying upwards. Now let's try doing this with a liquid gel. We start building out the gel sidewall on one side. Because of body heat, the gel quickly warms up and becomes even more liquid. So you have to work super fast. And typically, rushing immediately impacts the quality of your work. Not the best scenario. While working with this gel, I had to cure each sidewall individually just to get them to stay in place somehow. Next, we move on to the other side, where we have to build up the side parallel as well. To keep the gel from flowing away, I have to gently push it towards the skin. It's not the most comfortable or ideal solution, but there's simply no other way to handle this gel. After curing, let's see what we've got. And it's already clear that I'll be spending quite a long time filing down the index finger. Yes, we've created the side parallels and formed the free edge, but as you can see, using liquid gel for this technique is just extremely inconvenient. So save yourself some valuable time and always choose a material you're comfortable working with. At this stage, we're not doing any filing or shaping yet. Right now, we're performing general nail strengthening to lift the apex and complete our structural frame. We fully coat the nail plate, creating a thin, wet base layer underneath the main drop of gel. And don't cure this layer yet. This will make distributing the main material across the nail plate much easier. Then onto this uncured layer of gel, we place the main drop of material. Make sure to leave a small gap near the cuticle to prevent any chipping, and then carefully distribute the gel using a thin brush. At the 15-second mark, I pinch the nail to form a beautiful arch, but here's an important nuance. Pinch only the free edge, never the growth points. This is critical because applying pressure on growth points can cause excessive stress, potentially leading to onycholysis. Always carefully ensure that your pinching tool doesn't touch the growth points, only the free edge. After pinching, we cure the nail completely for 1 minute. Repeat the same steps for all the other nails, methodically, carefully, and with full control. After full polymerization, before we start filing, we always remove the sticky layer from the nails. This is important so the grit of your file doesn't get clogged. We'll be removing quite a bit of length, and to avoid wasting time with the hand file, I'm using a potter disc. It gets the job done quickly and the free edge comes up perfectly even. That's also the reason I didn't build a gel sidewall on the free edge earlier. The correct thickness will reveal itself once we shorten the nail. The key rule for creating a perfect square shape is 90 degrees. That means wherever you're filing, your file must be positioned exactly at a 90-degree angle, perfectly straight. Now we refine our gel sidewalls. Pay close attention to how I'm holding the file. It's completely upright and stable. That's exactly how it should be. Because if your file wobbles or tilts, you'll never get sharp, clean parallels. Now we move on to surface filing, to smooth out all the structural ridges and lower the free edge slightly. What we're doing is lifting the apex while at the same time lowering the free edge, so that from the side view the nail looks perfectly balanced and straight. But don't get carried away here. Always monitor the thickness of the free edge. It must remain strong enough so the nail doesn't break. When refining the gel sidewalls, I recommend holding the finger with an overhand grip. First, it's more comfortable, and second, it gives you a much clearer view of your file angle. And if we look at the nail from the free edge now, we can clearly see a good, healthy thickness, just the way it should be. This is exactly what I meant earlier when I said the general nail strengthening will compensate for the edge thickness. Thanks to a clear step-by-step system and following proper technique, we end up with a perfectly shaped nail, smooth apex, minimal material near the cuticle, and sharp, even side parallels. All of this is only possible when you apply the material correctly. File thoughtfully and understand the basic rules of nail architecture. After filing, we brush away all of the dust and wipe the nail with a lint-free pad soaked in cleanser. We'll be applying this rich, saturated red color next. To achieve perfect color application without streaks, bumps, or flows, you need to control how much material you apply. It's always better to do 2 thin layers than 1 thick one that might not cure properly. Another important rule, fan out your brush, just like I'm showing you in the video. And if you're still worried that the gel polish might flood the cuticle, simply take a thin brush. That way you'll have much more control. By the way, I have a separate video on my channel dedicated entirely to this topic. In it, I explain what really affects perfect application under the cuticle. And I share all my personal tips for keeping it clean, smooth, and totally free of flows. After curing the first layer, apply the second one in exactly the same way. Cure again and then finish with a thin layer of top coat. And here's another key point. The top coat should be applied very thinly with no leveling layers. You don't want to ruin the nail architecture we just worked so hard to build. cure for at least 1 minute and 30 seconds. People often ask me, can you overcure the material? And the answer is no, girls, you can't. But undercuring it, oh, that's very easy to do. And of course, don't forget to moisturize the cuticle and hands. This is the final touch, and it's an essential one. A drop of oil, a bit of lightweight cream, and the hands instantly look polished and complete. So here we are, our hard work has paid off. Now think back to how the nails looked at the beginning and compare. The difference speaks for itself, right? Let me know in the comments, what do you think of this work? Was everything clear or maybe not so much? Got questions? Don't be shy, ask away. And of course, support the channel with a like. It really helps me grow. Every video I mentioned today will be linked below in the description. Be sure to check them out because they cover some really essential foundational knowledge. And as always, I'm not saying goodbye for long. See you soon, beauties!